Of course, too many lies. If you know the issue of refineries, for a very long time we've been spending so much to refine our refineries. The major three ones we have in Warri, Port Harcourt, and Kaduna. The government has spent more than $11 billion trying to fix that refineries. Yet we have not seen them in full capacity. But we just hope that the promises made when the Port Harcourt refineries come back on board, we'll start having crude oil refined in Nigeria, and probably that will drop the price of petroleum products. Just like your analyst said there, it's so difficult for you to actually have these crude products here in the country. Yes, we have to import from other countries at a very high price, but we will not be looking at that here from our Abuja end. We're looking at education and labor matters. If you remember, the SSANU and NASU embarked on a one-week warning strike to drive home their demand, calling on the federal government to pay them their withheld salary. This happened during the ASU strike, and I think so many university bodies joined in that strike. And what we saw is that when the federal government was negotiating, ASU were able to get paid after the former president Muhammadu Buhari, the no work, no pay policy. We saw that some university workers, especially the academic staff union, were being paid, but NASU and ASU said the federal government withheld their own salary. So this morning I have in the studio with me the chairman of SSANU, that is the Senior Staff Association of University Workers. Or maybe he will do that later to introduce himself very well. But he is Yusuf Nuruddin. He is the chairman of SSANU, University of Abuja chapter. Very good morning to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, and good morning, Nigerians.
Of course, I was with you on Monday when you picketed the University of Abuja with your members. Has anything changed so far?
Yeah, good morning, and thank you for having me in your studio. Good morning, Nigerians. Just as you said, nothing has changed. But what we just know is that today, our national leadership will be meeting with government officials at the invitation of the Minister of Labour. We hope something positive will come out from that meeting today.
Please, can you take us through? Though in my analysis, I tried to mention some of the reasons why you decided to embark on this warning strike.
Okay,
can you take us through what are some of the demands that made you to go on this warning strike?
Thank you. Maybe just as you said in your introduction, SSANU is the Association of Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, while NASU is Non-Academic Staff Union of Universities and Allied Institutions.
Okay.
This is a body of workers that are working in the university systems whose work excludes or includes everything but teaching. So that means you have our members are the people that run the machineries of university systems, from administration to bursary to works, that's municipal services, to health services, and everything, including admission and graduating of students, and also mobilizing of students for national service. This is done by our members. So within our members, you have doctors, pharmacists, nurses, you have engineers, architects, and all groups of professionals that help and work in tandem with our academic counterparts in producing the final product, which are trained graduates for the Nigerian nation. So that is what we do in the universities. While this issue has should I say, a short history, since 2009, during the Yar'Adua administration, government entered an agreement with the unions. So you heard the popular 2009 agreement, so called the Federal Government of Nigeria by SSANU agreements. In that agreement, the closing paragraph is that this agreement will be renegotiated every 3 years. But between 2009 and 2024, that agreement have not been renegotiated. That's 15 years down the line. And in that agreement, there are counterpart areas wherein both parties, both the union and government, have some fundamental issues that they need to do, mostly on the part of our employers. That is the genesis of these issues. Now, to press on this demand, we've been going on strike, and some aspects of the agreement are attempted to, well, so we have memorandum of understandings, memorandum of action. The last being in 2022. On 27th of March 2022, SSANU embarked on strike. The academic staff had their own started a month earlier, but we, after also waiting for that to see further engagement from government, have no option to engage on strike, embark on strike on 28th March 2022. And that strike lasted till 21st August. Unlike the other sister union, we had agreement with governments. We had engagement with them. They invited us. We sat down. The government team is led by the then Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, which is counterpart in Labour. We had an agreement, and we signed an agreement called Memorandum of Action. And based on those agreements, we called our members and we resumed work on the 21st of August 2022. And the most fundamental part of that agreement is that no members of this union shall suffer any form of victimization as a result of this strike. But our salaries were repaid for 4 months, May, June, July, including August that we resumed work. We were not paid our salaries for this period. And of course, this dragged till the lapse of the last government. Now, when the new government came on board with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it basically agreed that all unions in the universities will be paid their 4 month salaries. All unions will be paid. Of course, 5 months down the line, since this pronouncement was made in August, we discovered that the academic counterparts were paid, leaving out all the other 3 unions. And there's no any explanation has been given to us.
I was going to that. If you say that, like what you're seeing on your screen, and that was when the university offices, some of the offices were shut down by your members. About what are those? Were there any reasons? You were going into that now. Was there any reasons? Were there any thoughts from the government why your own salaries were withheld?
There's no reason whatsoever. We've engaged government. We've written letter when we got information that the academic staff will be paid, and we read the protest letter. Before then, we also had meeting with the Minister of Education, who assured us that the pronouncement of Mr. President is for all staff in the university. So we've gotten assurances, and we have no reason to doubt or not to trust those assurances from the highest level of government. But the reality is that those assurances have not come to reality. And we've also engaged with written letter. Nobody has given us any cogent reason. In fact, none is the word from government. Nobody has said anything, except probably the meeting this morning. And of course, what we're asking for is simple. If the president is giving a directive, it behoves on the operators of this within the operators of this directive to implement the presidential directive. That is just the issue. Nobody has talked to us.
So the arrest, is it salary arrest or the withheld salary now? Is it for 2023 or the one in 2022 that you're fighting for?
It is the withheld salaries for 2022. Withheld salaries from May till August 2022. And the president has given directive that these 4 month salaries should be paid.
Okay, because so many persons are already asking questions that if SSANU whom will know that your functions cannot be rolled out in universities, like you mentioned earlier, issue of admissions and graduations, most of your staff handle that aspect. Now, don't you think at a time like this, when the country is going through difficult, and one would expect that you come to a compromise and probably wait for the federal government to do the necessary thing, probably just like you person, maybe the president is not aware of, not up to this morning that you said your union is meeting again with our government. So many persons felt that you would have come to a compromise to see how to resolve this issue.
Yes, this situation actually is unfortunate, but inevitable. Why it is unfortunate is because we've made our reach out to government. We've sent letters, we've given ultimatums, we've extended those ultimatums, and we've also seek for them to. But if you are not invited, you go to a meeting. So I think it's on the part of government to play their own role. We are also our parents. We have our students too, or our children among the students. In most universities now, there's no light, there is no water, the university health services are closed down, and every other thing that has to do with administration of university. In fact, there may be students who wants to go for service. They will be mobilized. That is the implication of some of these things. So imagine if all our graduates who are supposed to go to service are not mobilized from our universities. It has a toll on the nation. These are the far-reaching implications. For example, some universities now want to conduct their matriculations for the newly admitted. They have to postpone it. They have to postpone it because the people that will process all these things are on warning strike. And that is why we also gave this as a warning strike. It's not a total down to, and we don't want to be forced to shut down completely, because that will disrupt the harmony we're enjoying in Nigerian university. Since August 20, since we came back, we'll be able to have some level of industrial harmony within the university system. And we are making effort to restore the academic calendar before this. And this is most unfortunate for this coming at a time like this. And I think the officials of government and the president need to listen to the yearnings of the Nigerian worker.
So apart from your salary being withheld, are there other demands that the union is fighting for? For instance, we know ASU has always fought for harmonization, they fought for the IPPIS, so many issues. What are you looking at apart from your salary being withheld? You're not talking about the infrastructures in school, the learning environment, just your salary?
No, it's not about the salary. The issue of the withheld salary is incidental to the action. Okay. You know, I told you that it was during the strike that our salaries were withheld. So that means that even this withholding of salary was not actually the fundamental issues that we're talking about. So what were those? The main fundamental issue is to renegotiate the 2009 agreement. It has been for 15 years in the works.
Can you give us the details of
exactly.
that?
The 2009 fundamental, 2000 innovation actually talks about the issue of funding of universities. In my university, for example, now, to power the university management spends over 100 million naira on diesel alone every month. That is not sustainable. And the overhead costs, no university get that money on the general overhead costs, much less on diesel alone. And also we talk about the issue of increased funding for the university, improving infrastructures. It's not only about our welfare, because even where we work, it's not conducive for us to work. So we have university rationing lights, or rationing water, or even the classrooms are bad. I want to tell you, look, aside the welfare of the workers, let's look at the university system in the whole, so that our university, our graduates can compete globally. So that our certificate, wherever it is presented all over the world, will be accepted and recognized. So these are issues. Because if you go to universities now, you see dilapidated infrastructures. And this is what we are talking about. So if, for example, we said that, look, let's have, let's negotiate this agreement. Because in the past, this thing has been in the work. For example, we had initial...
sorry, Chairman, let me just hold your thoughts there. I'll come back to you. I started the program this morning on ITV, and I still have here Comrade Yusuf Nuruddin, the chairman of SSANU, University of Abuja. Earlier, before we went on that break, you were looking at some of the demands in the 2009 agreements with federal government.
So yes, so as I was saying, the other aspect of it is also the issue of the welfare, our career structures. And of course, within those things, the allowances, they were negotiated between the two parties and fully signed then by the leader of the team of government, that's late Gamale Onosode on the part of government. And of course, those allowances, we call them earned allowances. Meaning these are allowances that you worked for, you've earned it, you should be paid at the end of those work. And during the last administration of Muhammadu Buhari, the then Minister of Education, Mala Adamu, agreed to pay those earned allowances. And 50 billion was budgeted. And it was budgeted and approved in last year's budget, 2023 budget. But to date, that has not come to fruition. Our members have not been paid. The last time I paid an allowance was in 2013. A whole 11 years, we've not been paid this end allowance. And of course, government actually also roll out some policy or document to say, okay, look, we need to put an end to this issue of the end allowance. We're going to release 50 billion. it's going to be encapsulated in 2023 budget, which was done. Also, the issue of wage increment, because of course our salaries, as you know, cannot even take us to the gate of the university, much more less take us home. Most universities are actually located outside town, so our people have to commute from where they are within the town to those locations where universities are to run the university, because most universities also don't have enough accommodations for their staff. In fact, one of the universities that have maybe 20 or 30% of the staff population are accommodated within the university. Every day people have to commute from far and wide. We also know what the implication of transportation is today. So these issues are there, but even government went ahead without using the principle of collective bargaining agreement to impose a 23% wage increment. And 100 billion was made as provision to accommodate this increment in 2023 budget. While in March 2024, we've not seen anything. And we can go on and go on and go on. And we've had meetings, we have committees. Government started with the Wale Babalaki committee, which was truncated sometimes in 2017, 2018. Then we had the Professor Munzali committee to renegotiate this agreement. After much work, more than 2 years, nothing came out of the Munzali debris committee. Then government set up the late Professor Nini Briggs committee. And also too, nothing came up. Why nothing came up is because government is said keep shifting the goalpost. And we are telling government that look, you need to take university education serious. No nation truly develops if you don't take your university education or education in general serious. And this is what we are saying. So you can't get the best from the people that run or all this system if you also don't look into the issue of their welfare services.
But does this cut across both states, universities?
Yes.
Because I know those of you in federal level, you're being paid by federal government. What do you say about the states?
No,
how do you fight for them?
Well, of course, this strike is general, because the most issue that we get in the press is all about, it's not about 4 months salaries. State universities are worse hit. Okay. Look at what happened in Plateau recently, where the governor just woke up and sacked all the heads and the leadership of all the universities and tertiary institutions in the states. In most state universities now, the governors use state university as constituency projects, meaning that they just wake up and set up universities. There are some states that have 4 state universities, while they cannot even adequately fund one. For example, in Ondo State, all the universities in Ondo State are on shutdown. They've all down for more than a month now. Why? Because of poor funding and non-payment of staff salaries, some up to 11 months. So this issue is not only about it. That is why even all universities in Nigeria, state university inclusive, are involved in this strike action. Because you just don't wake up. University has its own some level of autonomy the way it operates, and it's a global practice. For example, now no federal university and most universities don't have their governing council in place. Governing council is the highest level policy making body for all universities. So they take care of staff promotion, staff appointment, staff discipline, and everything that has to do with policies regarding the running of universities. There are some universities now that even some of their principal officers are at the end of their tenure. And the processes to recruit or employ or appoint a new substantive principal officers cannot go on because there is no council in place.
So, I understand that security have been withdrawn also from most of the schools. At this time that we've been having so much schools being hit by bandits and kidnappers and that. So what are you doing in that regard? Because when we got to your school gates, we observed that it was a skeletal service by the security officers there. Because I know the security officers are under NASU and also SSANU.
Yes, for the security or safety officer, it's an unfortunate situation. Because the last time we were on strike, these people were working to keep the system at least in place. So that when you come back from strike, you still have the university to go back to. And these people, throughout the period of the strike, they were working and they were not paid. What do you expect of such person? Because in their own case, they even did the work. The job was done, and like in most other cases too, because even our members who during those strikes, we're still giving some level of national services. We want so that we keep mobilizing people to go for service, our youth, our graduates to go for service. These services are still being rendered even during those strikes. So the people in security and this thing, they too, they are pushed to the wall. Because if you don't pay them for what they've done, how do you encourage them to do putting their best the next time? And it's most unfortunate, and this is why it is very important, and it bears on government for them to hit to the demand of the university before we have a total breakdown. Because if this continues, that means that even after this trial, we will not have a university to go back to.
Yes, I was about to ask you that. So what should we be expecting from the meeting today with the federal government?
Of course, to me, the first step towards genuine reconciliation is implement or obey the presidential directive. This selective treatment or unfair treatment for non-teaching staff in university must stop. That is the first step. Then the second step is to immediately constitute the governing councils so that we can have some sense of governance within the universities. Because you don't have to have vice chancellor running to Abuja to get approval for the easiest thing that the governing councils can do. It erodes what a true university should be. So to me, I think those are the first two steps. Then, of course, we constitute the renegotiation and this thing. We've been on this renegotiation for I think government should look at it that, look, let's put an end to this issue of this 2009 agreement. Even if there are aspects or areas where the government is not comfortable with or things like that, we still need to come to the table and talk. And that is what we are asking for. And I don't think this is too much for government to implement.
Thank you so much, Comrade Yusuf Nuruddin, the chairman of SSANU University of Abuja. And Jack, you said Jack,
yes,
right?
Chairman, Joint Action Committee.
Joint Action Committee. Thanks so much for sharing light on the update of the ASU strike. Well, we just hope that today you have a victory, if I have to use that word, and the government may shape post this time to your own favor. So we wish you the best as you meet with the federal government this morning.
Thank you very much.
Again, thank you again for being on the program.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your time.